What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MLG Guild Wars 2 Invitational. I'm Sireph. I'm joined by Blue. I'm also joined by Shawn and Buell on Skype. Before we go into anything, though, we've got another copy of Guild Wars 2 to give out to you guys tonight, and there will be a code right below me in just a matter of seconds, guys, and you can go ahead and write that down and head over to guildwars2.com to redeem it, and there it is. Of course, we're going to give you a little bit of time to figure out how to write that down and get it on over there, but Blue, for those of us that aren't able to get that game code, there is a trial going on. Did you know that?
I did know that, actually.
There's a week-long trial that you can go to register.guildwars.com, guildwars2.com rather. So register.guildwars2.com/trial. Go ahead and there it is. You can do the free trial week that starts now. Come and join us in PvP if you want to have as much fun as we're having, and if you want to save the world, you can do that too. So we're about to go into our final semi-final, which is going to be Denial Esports versus Good Fights, an EU versus NA matchup once again, and this is going to be really, really good to watch. Denial really dominant in their first match, and Good Fights able to take out PAX winners, Car Crash, a little bit of a mix-up with their technologies, unfortunately, but we're moving ahead with the semifinals now, and we're about to get ready. Shawn, what do you expect to come out of these teams in this match?
So we definitely have the mobility of Vanish and Helsith over on Denial. 5Gauge has proven that he can be just as mobile as a Thief as well. So we're going to see some interesting side point fights and smaller skirmishes in this game. Miniken and Freylina, both really great Guardians, so mid-fights, expect some really long drawn-out fights there.
Yeah, man. So I think we're going to go ahead and go into this game, check out the builds they're running, and go over this. But guys, do not forget, you see the polls have already started. You're going to go ahead and tweet hashtag Denial or hashtag Good Fights along with hashtag MLG to win a gem code. We are actually going to be giving away a gem code every game of every match from now on. So go ahead and do that. It's about 67% for Denial and 33% for Good Fights. So let's go ahead. Check out what Genyon is doing on the side of Good Fights. He's dancing in the waterfall, Shawn, but what sort of build is he running?
So no one's really switched up their builds. We got Genyon running Spirit Ranger. We have Wacky running the Longbow Hammer build. 5Gauge is running a Power Rifle build. Forever Happy Kid running a standard Necromancer Conde Cleave build. And Miniken running the 0010-30-30 Bunker build. And then over on Denial, we got Freylina running the 05-30-35 healing support build on his Guardian. This ARTP, is that the same person we had before?
It might be a sub. They're allowed to sub someone in because they are playing about, I think it's 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. over there, so they're allowed to sub pretty much everyone. I think it's the same person, though.
Yeah, those EU guys playing with lag, playing in the middle of the night. Really great job of them. But we have RTE. He's running Axe Dagger with Sword Warhorn and Shamans on a Spirit Ranger. Denchi running the Hammer Longbow Warrior as well. And then Helsith running the Scepter Longsword or Scepter Greatsword Shatter Mesmer build. Vanish is actually running a pretty cool build. He actually switched. Now he is running Dagger Pistol as well, so no longer playing Sword Dagger. He is playing Dagger Pistol, and he's running 10-30-00-30, so a little bit of a different Thief build than we're used to.
Absolutely. Of course, RP, I'm getting a confirmation that he is fluid, so we're just waiting to start up the game momentarily. Let's tell them to ready up. So, Shawn, we're going to go into this matchup, but the compositions, have they changed a little bit? I think RP is a little bit of a change up, plus we do have Vanish on that new build. How is that going to play in this matchup?
So Vanish is definitely going to be able to do a little bit more burst damage than he was doing before. He's still just as mobile, but instead of the sustained flanking strike, boon removal that a Sword Dagger Thief has, he's going to just have that straight up burst damage, as well as the more invisibility and more stealth coming out from him. Art's pretty much going to be running the same exact thing, maybe a little bit of a weapon setup. I'm not sure what weapons he was running before, but it's usually very similar no matter what Spirit Ranger build you're going for. He is running for the full melee one, opting not to take the short bow, but going for the double melee set instead.
You know what I think is different with Fluid is that he doesn't have the torch. I think he had a torch earlier, if I'm not mistaken. But when the game is about to start, Shawn, we're going to go over the splits here on Forest of Niflhel. and we're just about to start the second semifinal match.
He actually just had that war horn right there for the start. He did switch to torch, just to get that out there. But we actually do have Helseth. Again, he is crossing for denial right there. He will be pushing into mine, and Genyon was left completely alone. So they're going to have that nice little 1v1 there. Everyone else pushing straight towards mid, so there's going to be a little bit of a 3v4 until Fluid's able to push right there and make it an even 4v4.
Yep, they are going to. It looks like Vanish is actually, he's going to try and chase down somebody here. It looks like he's taking a 2v1 against Wakey and company here. He's going to get a little bit back here. Looks like Miniken on the point is going to be able to start capping, but Freylina comes in to deny that. 5-gauge trying to do some damage, or gets kicked back by Freylina with some knockback there. Meanwhile, Wakey is up here trying to do some damage on Denshi, this warrior on warrior action. They're both pulling at the longbows to be able to hit each other, and just the fire shot on fire shot. So much might will be had here, assuming they can get some shots in on that.
Yeah, and one thing we've seen is like these really squishy high damage classes are able to stay on these platforms, and a lot of people aren't taking as many pulls. You know, we don't really see the Mesmer focus anymore, so you're no longer getting the pulls from that, which is one of the biggest pulls we used to see. A lot of people are running toolkits and they have the magnetic pull, but really, we have GF just dominating the top of the platforms right there and throwing down as much damage as possible.
You know, Shawn, that might be right, but Helseth was able to back cap, and now he's joined the mid fight, and this is not good for GF as they need to get those points there. Helseth is going to be porting back Wakey, chasing him down, but it looks like he's going to be supported by Denshi here. Of course, we did see Fluid stuff coming through here. He's going to get stomped out by Miniken here on the point, so finally we will see good fights taking the midpoint here and keep. But, you know, Freylina and company, they can easily push back here if they decide to choose so once Fluid comes back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Denial doing a great job of starting this off. Good fights, you know, they were really did well last time with their side point advantage. They're really pushing mid this time, so we might see a little swap up soon where they'll start to push sides a little harder. Definitely what they need to get back in this game.
That's right. Wakey, though, does go down. So will Vanish. We'll have to see who gets up and who does not. That's Wakey getting stomped out. Vanish will get up again, but he'll get dropped. And then here comes Ken with the stomp. Will he be able to stomp out Vanish? We'll have to see momentarily. No, he does get interrupted. And it looks like Denshi is going to be trying to do some cleave in here on the teammates trying to get in on him. Looks like Helseth, though, is down as well. The Ranger here in Fluid's trying to support him, but there's just so many grenades going off him. It's too dangerous to stay anywhere near him, Shawn.
Yeah, a lot of people from Denial are coming down, but Good Fight still like containing themselves. They're starting to push over towards Henge, but they definitely need to get a point soon so they don't get too far behind. It looks like that 5-gauge will be able to get on points. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get a T-cap before Denshi's able to get on it. Yeah, he wasn't.
It's unfortunate, but like we do see, Denshi is finally on the point there. It's going to be still there for the blue team, and that just means Denial's going to start being even more dominant. They have double the points of their opponents here, and it's just Wakey and company trying to get a single point. No one's actually anywhere near mid, and watch this. Genyon is going to decap mine, and they'll get a 2-cap momentarily as it looks like Fluid's just now coming off the respawn, crossing over on the beach, and he's going to be heading over to where Genyon is to 1v1 him probably.
Good Fights is actually doing fantastic job over here as well. So they are trying to push in for a 3-cap right now, and it might just happen if they're able to get, yep, they are. They got 5-gauge right back into the fight, so they're going to have that consistent damage from the power NG coming out on him.
Let's check out what 5-gauge can pull out here. He's going to be going into that grenade kit and just doing so much AoE, but there's 2 members of Denial here, looks like 3 actually, going to be wreaking havoc on him. He is at 5k health, and he might be able to come back up. He does have the regen off the utility from the healing turret there. He's trying to get the wires out onto, I think that is Freylina, but Freylina is able to stay on point pretty easily. Unfortunately, doesn't get snared. The line of warning keeps him off the point there, just now getting back on point, but here comes Helseth with the portal, and that support is going to be really crucial to Denial's defense at this point.
Yeah, so Helseth was actually able to throw down a portal at Henge, walk all the way over to keep, get that capped, and then portal back over to help at Henge. So really all-star play right there. Trying to secure all points at once almost. Helseth really carrying a team of points at this moment.
Meanwhile, over here at Mine, Genyon gets stomped out by Fluid. Fluid's going to recap this, and so now the only points really are on the board for Denial, and it looks like Wakey's trying to do something here at Keep against Denshi, but I don't think this fight's going to go in the favor of anyone here, as they're pretty much dead even. But here comes Vanish, and now the numbers are against Wakey. He will probably be bastied soon if we go in with Vanish. He doesn't have the cooldown ready for that yet, though. He'll be stealing his the axe there, and it looks like we will go down, and Denshi gonna go in for the stomp.
Yeah, so actually, again, a little bit of a swap. Good Fights had that almost 3-point advantage. Denial said, not today. They were able to get all their points back, and during this whole time, they've just been fighting at Hinge almost this whole time.
Yeah, man. They've been putting way too much emphasis on this. They need to sort of back up, spread out, and feel what they can sort of do in this map. Their map awareness will really help with that, because Helseth is just so mobile with those portals.
Yeah, that's definitely a great thing about having a Mesmer on your team. During a fight like this, if you know it's going to be a long fight and you can sustain it without one player, you can just have someone go back cap. And if it's Mesmer, you can have them back cap and instantly come back into the fight to make the fight even again, as long as you're able to sustain it for as long as that takes.
So check out Udaheim real fast. The Chieftain is being taken down by Forever Happy Kid and 5-Gauge here. There's no one in range for Blue unless we do see Vanish come up, and he might come and try to steal this, but no, they don't have the time there. So now Good Fights will be taking the team fights if they do go into it, but we do see Minican going in on Denshi in the midpoint, Shawn.
Yeah, and during that time, Wacky was actually able to cap the mines as well. So there we go. We got Good Fights on their side point control. It's what we're really used to seeing from this team as far as today goes. But I'm not sure if Wacky is really going to be able to hold out against Helseth and Fluid at the same time, unless he gets some help soon, but it doesn't look like anyone's coming to back him up.
He's managed to get Helseth down, but no, he heals right then and there, and Wakey is so very low, so many conditions on him as well. He's going to go down. Yeah, he's in the down state right now. Helseth's stunned. Going to try and, oh, here's a double stomp. There's no way he comes out of this alive, and there it is. Helseth gets knocked out off the stomp. Now let's check out Keep, where we do have Frelina in a 2v1 against 5-Gauge and Minican. This is in the favor of Good Fights, and they can start capping this momentarily, but we do have Helseth pushing towards Hench here, Shawn, and he's going to be joined by, I think, oh no, Vanish kind of ported back.
Blue team takes a
yeah, Vanish did pour back. 5-Gauge, he's got to be careful. Against Guardians, you really have to be kind of scared, especially as a power NG. Once they pop that retaliation, if you start spamming your nades, you take so much damage in return, even if they're not even attacking you. So you see him kind of watching out. He's staying at full health right there and kind of going for everyone else. Minican trying really hard to get Happy Kid back up, and he gets him right back up. Genyon coming with the Spirit as well. That's really going to help him in that fight.
Yeah, I think Good Fights is going to come back in this fight here. They're going to do pretty well, if I do say so myself. Genyon going to be able to put that aggression on. Those spirits are just so effective. Looks like Frelina is being locked down here. He might get stomped out after Denshi once he does go down. Frelina does go down. We'll see if the wall of light does anything, if he gets to push it off. Let's see. No, Ivanish is going to come and try and res him. Looks like a... Will this happen? 5-Gauge very low over on Henge, though. Going back to Keep. Frelina gets up. Minican able to keep him off point for just a second. Happy Kid comes back to try and deal with this, but Vanish is here. And here comes Genyon, so it's going to be a 3v2 here on mid.
Yeah, letting him get that res was really a problem. They almost had that point capped. If someone would just have stayed, and when he came for the res, if they were able to DPS him down while he was getting the res, they could have got 10 extra points right there, and they could have got the cap a lot earlier.
You know, I think you're right. Frelina, though, does get on point, keeps it from being capped. Denial is just going to rack up more and more points here, but Frelina's going to get stomped by Cannon. I think Red will begin to cap this. There it is. So they're only about 60 points behind right now in the gaining. Wakey, though, able to knock back everyone over on Mine, Shawn, and he's dealing with Fluid. He's dealing with Denshi right now, and he's actually about to drop, but here comes Minican.
Yeah, Minican coming right in the fight. Happy Kid a little bit behind him. They're really going to try and hold this. Wacky staying again in this fight with ridiculously low health. Almost every time I look for mines, and Wacky's there. He's just staying at the lowest amount of health with his Signet just ticking, barely keeping him alive.
That's right. If we go over to 5-Gauge, he's trying to get into the fight, but Frelina and Helseth have kind of taken him out. He finally gets up there, but I think it's Wakey who gets stomped out. Forever Happy Kid is down as well. He's trying to get res by Minican. Minican might get... No, the stomp goes through. Minican and Genyon are the only ones alive as a 5-Gauge is dropped down underneath the scaffolding outside of Mine, and he won't get up, I don't think. It looks like Miniken was not able to get him up. He's still trying to get some aggression, indecisive if he wants to stay on point to keep it decapped or rest his teammate. His teammate needs to come over and another teammate needs to come over and support them, but actually there goes Miniken. He's going to drop as well. Wave of Light goes out, but not able to push anyone back.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt good fights a lot. Miniken getting stumped. 5 gauge, just letting the bleed out right there. Those points are really racking up for Denial right now, and Wacky, again, trying really hard to go push towards Henge and take that, but Helseth was right there waiting for him, and dueling Helseth is not an easy thing to do.
Absolutely not. Helseth, of course, one of the most well-known players in the game, and that's just simply because of his skill and ability to put stuff in. Look at Wakey, though. He is doing a fairly decent job. He's got him about 3/4 health, except he's... oh my god, here comes Fluid. I don't think he's going to last for much longer. He's very low, and there he drops. So here comes a stomp probably from Fluid. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go in here. Let's see if Wakey can sort of deal with him. No, he's sort of resigned to it. And meanwhile, in mine, we have Miniken and 5 gauge going up against Denchi and Freylina. So we might see an even fight here, but no, here comes Ivanichu up against 5 gauge in the back. He'll probably teleport up and get him momentarily. Let's see what he's actually doing. Yeah, he's going to try and get up on the scaffolding. No, he's going to push back, waiting for Forever Happy Kid to come out, because he does know that that third is coming out of the shadows there, and they'll start their push soon.
Yeah, Denchi trying so hard not to die up there. There's like this little LOS where they keep jumping up and down from that rafters right there. 5 gauge trying so hard to take Denchi out right there, but he's not able to get the combos off. Denial taking the victory, 500 to 390. We're going to be going into Game 2, Legacy of the Foefire.
That's right, Shawn. Of course, you check out the scoreboard, 210 for Genyon, but that's on the losing team, unfortunately. Not able to translate those personal points to the total score. Genyon, I think he was the one really going around backcapping this for good fights here, but when it comes down to the team composition, to getting the kills, I think, you know, Denial has him on lock.
Yeah, he was actually the one that was going for those neutral bosses as well. So every time he managed to do that, that's another 25 points in his advantage as well. That's kind of why we see him a little bit higher, as he was soloing those neutral creatures throughout the game.
Yep, and you know, before we go into the Game 2, Blue, what sort of things was Denial really utilizing to stay ahead? They were so dominant that game.
So Denial was actually, from what I was noticing from the sort of taking a look from the broad point of view here, was that Helseth's team, or Denial, was using a very risky strategy, as I would consider it. They would be going for a lot of fights where they would almost purposely be losing them, and that's why you sort of saw the good fights have that higher overall player score there, because they were getting, I believe, in my opinion at least, more kills. However, because they were always sort of trapping them or baiting them into these fights, that would allow Denial Esports to sort of sneak around, take the points away from them on the back of their feet, and Helseth was doing that almost every single time there was a team fight, and I think that's why they ended up coming out on top here. However, on the next map, I don't think that's going to work as well, just because of how the map is shaped, so they may have to change up the strategy for this upcoming map.
Yep.
Yeah. Helseth actually did pretty good on portals last time. They really used them to transport not just Helseth, but multiple people in between the points. So we might see that again. This map was also the map that I doubted 5 gauge on, with this huge map. I didn't think he was going to be immobile enough to hang out with a thief, and he proved me wrong. So I'm excited to see both those players prove how mobile they are on the biggest map in Guild Wars 2.
Well, we'll have to see what sort of strategies they decide to employ over here on Legacy of the Foefire. Guys, we're going to be right back after this. Also, JP Gray 91, you're a Gemco winner. Congratulations. We're going to go into Game 2 after this commercial break. But JP, follow us on Twitter at MLG, and we'll be right back.